Trying to make you feel at home.
Here we go.
All right.
Hey, Dan. It's hot in the garage, man.
This is a very hot garage. We're sitting very close.
How about some refreshing whiskey?
I think that's a fine idea.
I thought it'd be fun this time to talk about your trip because you were not here one week and in the comments the next.
Yes.
Because you were in Copenhagen for the start of the 2022 Tour de France.
Yes, and I was up very late to support your solo effort because I was very tired.
I know the time difference was brutal.
Yes. Here's my Danish friend that I brought home for my daughter.
Proof that Dan was actually in Denmark.
I was in the Denmark world.
Do you know how to explain the Denmark, Netherlands, Holland? Like part of that, they have 9 different names for the same place.
Well, Holland and Denmark and Netherlands are the same. Denmark is a different country.
Yeah. But they all have these they're Denmark, then it's Danish. Mm-hmm. The language is Danish. Then
like Holland, it's Dutch. I just go to Europe and I'm confused for a week or two. That's basically how I handle it.
How is that different? I mean, I'm generally confused.
No, it's just my Americanness that I bring with me.
Did you get to drink any whiskey while you were there?
I did not. There were 2 stores that I went into that had a bunch of whiskey. Most of it was Scotch, which is not surprising. But there was one store that had about 30 bottles of Blantons. And on principle, I did not buy it.
How many Dutch dollars were they?
So kroners, Danish kroners, it's like, I think 100 kroners is like $17. So like, I don't math, right? Like I don't math. So I have no freaking idea. There was a really big number of kroners and I was just like, that's probably too much.
Look, Bender's back.
Hey, Bender!
And Larry. Oh, Larry wants his stuffed yellow lion.
So you know what was also really frustrating? I went to the Tour de France merchandise booth and they didn't have the lions. They just had these stupid like stuffed dudes wearing cycling caps. I was like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So no lion. Sorry, Larry. You just have to deal with me and my Danish doll.
Okay, so there wasn't a good trip for whiskey.
No.
And not that it's particularly connected, but I brought 2 bottles that I'm kind of excited about. That's a Club Pick Knob Creek Rye whiskey, 115 proof, I think. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me use the cameras that we bothered to set up. 115, I think, or 20 proof. You got the label.
115.
15 proof. It's a 6-ish-year-old Knob Creek Rye pick. It's a relatively old pick, as you can tell by the label. They picked it a couple years ago, and then the guy that does all that found a case of them in the back of his gigantic warehouse about a year ago.
Happens to me all the time. Yeah.
Just find a case of hundreds of dollars worth of stuff I've forgotten, and I bought one. Nice. And I just opened it the other day. It is delicious, and I wanted to share.
Let's sip it.
It also has a tater sticker on it, which I could care less about tater stickers.
Is it which can? Are we still on that?
There's the tater sticker. There's tater sticker.
Tater sticker. All right. Pour cam. Get to it.
Pour cam. There you go.
I should mention, so I did have a pretty lengthy layover at London Heathrow, and they had a lot of Scotch that's like traveler exclusive. Mm-hmm. And I thought about getting one. I almost bought one, but they were not cheap. And the one I really wanted to get there was a bunch of Macallans. I sure do like Macallan. And they also had some Lefroigs, but they were monumentally expensive. Mm-hmm. And so I did not bite the bullet.
All I want from travel retail is something that doesn't matter anymore, I don't think, because that Jack Daniel's Bottled in Bond has been travel retail in the liter size for years, and I've never gotten one.
Oh, I saw one. You should. I didn't know.
I've only mentioned that a few hundred times.
I wasn't. When am I ever listening to anybody about anything? If you guys do want to see any of the content that I did make,
it was very good.
The content, the whiskey,
and the whiskey.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, even if you don't like bikes, it was pretty fun to zip around Copenhagen, and you get a little sense of what it's like to be at the Tour de France, what it's like to cover a bike race, and what Copenhagen was like, which, by the way, is pretty damn cool.
And you did all by bicycle, which was cool. Both the bike you brought and the rideshare bikes. Mm-hmm. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. This is awesome.
Isn't that good?
Oh my gosh.
So I think the moral of the story is there are Knob Creek bourbon store picks all over the place. not as many of the rye picks. And it's, any of the Knob Creek rye is good, but you got to figure the stuff we buy here that's 100 proof for $28 is probably just barely 4 years old, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Couple extra years of that knob rye in the barrel, makes a difference.
Yeah. There's a pick of this up at Total Beverage right now. I'm tempted.
I'd get on that.
Yeah, I'm tempted to run up there. This is delicious.
I think that I paid $50 for that from the club. I'd buy that all day long.
Just the nose is so good. Candy, like caramelly.
It's the mouthfeel that gets me. It just envelops the palate.
Yeah, it flowers out. It's really, that is good. That is really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Quite tasty.
Yeah. Well, your streak of good bottles continues. Mine not so much.
The other thing I was going to do today is I bought a 3-year-old Scotch from a new distillery just because the guy at Hazel's liked it.
Yeah.
And I paid $60-something for it. I almost brought that because I've been feeling bad about your streak of not good bottles.
It's been pretty bad. It's been really bad.
Because of all the bottles I have in the cabinet, there's probably one that might disappoint. It's probably that one.
Yeah. Well, let's give it a go. Bender,
bring it.
Grab it if you see it at Total Wine. This is delicious.
Yeah, Bender, if you're this Knob Creek, the bourbon picks are all delicious.
Right.
They're really good, but these rye ones, just a year or two extra in the barrel for these single barrel picks, and oh my God, they're good.
Hey guys, what do you think of the new background, by the way?
We moved.
Yeah, we're not forcing bike tools on you anymore. It's imperfect, but at least we've got whiskey in the background now.
It's also hot.
It's very hot in this corner. Very hot.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but we don't have a very nice. Well, it's a very nice place. Don't get me wrong.
Great garage.
It just has no air conditioning.
Yeah, no. It's very much a garage in Colorado, where it's currently 100 degrees outside. All right. I'm going to continue to sip on this, but you should talk a little bit about this Evan Williams because I've seen these many times and I have never once bought one.
I love those. I love so let's see, Blanton's that you mentioned.
I've heard of it.
Which, if we're talking about it, gives me enough reason to put it in the description for search purposes. Blanton's was 83, I think, when they first made a commercial offering of that, and then 84, might have been 84, 85. The next year, Jimmy Russell did Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, single barrel. And the next year, Evan Williams did this pick. Now, the different thing they did was they had this vintage. So like a bottle of wine, they put a date on the label. Yeah. And that's the date that it goes in the barrel.
Barreled.
Yeah. And so this is a 2014 vintage. On the back, it tells you the little specific, the barrel number and when it went in and when it came out. And they used to be 10 or 11 years old when I first started getting them.
Yeah, this one's 8.
I think they were still that. Maybe they were 9. Anyway, this one's just over 8. And it gets knocked a lot because of the proof, because it's a pretty low and oddly specific proof of 86.6 proof. But I just think they're delicious. And it kind of plays into that thing we were talking about a few weeks ago where I just don't seem to like old Heaven Hill bourbon. So this is under that 10-year cap. The proof is low, but it is, to me, it's incredibly flavorful.
Yeah.
And I like them. And I used to buy them for $24, $25. They're still 30, but the problem is they became Kentucky only a couple months ago. So
What?
they will no longer be nationally distributed.
If I'd known that, I would have bought some.
Well, and that's what I thought. And they were gone. But then last week, I was in the store buying some steaks and looked down the shelf, and there was 2 left.
Oh, well, shoot. Now I regret not buying some.
I bought both of those.
Yeah. Well,
Delicious.
I need to get some water to rinse out before I go down from 115 to 86 proof.
Maybe just rinse out with some of that.
It might be, yeah. But you can pour because I'm going to get my water, which is way over there.
That's a Melissa Etheridge song. You can pour while I drive.
There you go.
No, you don't want to drive and pour. That's bad.
Bender, what'd you pay for that Eagle Rare? I'm curious what it costs in other parts of the country. Because right here, it's starting to become unobtainium.
I just bought a Hazel's pick for 30.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
30, 35.
If you catch the bigger stores, they usually have them cheaper. But if you start getting like into the smaller liquor stores,
$35.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I think the trick with if they get a normal shipment of a few cases of Eagle Rare, that's a small investment.
Yeah.
When they buy a barrel, they have to pay for the whole barrel.
Yeah.
They're not going to try and make the extra $10. They're going to get rid of that barrel. So I think that's why you end up seeing those store picks at a reasonable price.
Because I see, yeah, I mean, I've
seen regular ones for $60.
$60, yeah, that is absurd.
I'm sorry, you told me to pour.
Pour. Gosh. All right. How's pour cam looking?
Pour cam's on.
Pour cam is centered. We're good. All right.
But you know, wax, but it comes off relatively easy. By the way, I tell you this, you know, my complaints about bottle wax. Everybody's gotten better about that, particularly Bean. But then I went back and opened that old pick.
Yeah.
There was wax all over the place.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That is the one thing I really dislike about Booker's is the wax situation.
It has not improved.
It has not.
Like the knob wax has.
It's gotten worse.
But anyway, 86.6 proof. This one's just over, actually just shy of 9 years old. Just shy of 8. Whatever.
Just shy of 8. It's 2 months shy of 8.
2 months shy of 8, Mr. Math.
That was math.
And
math.
I think delicious. I think everything you want in a bourbon. It's fruity. It's got the oak and the vanilla.
Put this over here.
Obviously, 86.6 proof, easy drinking.
Wait, I gotta do like the dog.
Larry's buying the standard Eagle Rare release for $33 in Alabama. It's on the allocated list, but it's there most every month.
33. Grab that every time.
Maybe we should have drank this first.
Yeah. I can't really taste anything.
Trust me.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. We should have started with the 86 point whatever, or 86.6. Not the 115.
Who knows it? It's not.
Yeah. It's got the Heaven Hill nose.
I just think it's delicious.
It's got a great nose. It's that Heaven Hill vanilla.
Bender may have missed the sniffing thing. So my daughter, has a master's in zoology, and she's quite the scientist. She was explaining to me when I told her, when we nose it, we open our mouth. She said, "That's ridiculous. That's not how your olfactory system works. What you do is like a dog, where you'll take 3 or 4 little sniffs, and then a deep sniff," which made sense to me because a lot of times when somebody's tasting something proofy, I'll tell them just take a tiny little bit, roll it around the tongue, prep the palate, then drink. And I think there's something to that little quick sniff thing.
Yeah. I just wish I could taste it.
Take a big sip, hold it, then hold it, don't swallow it, hold it.
Oh, I can taste it now. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's really good.
I think it's delicious. It's everything about Heaven Hill bourbon I like, and none of the stuff I don't like.
It doesn't give you that funky weirdness.
It's not dry on the end.
We were getting like that mustiness in the Elijah Craig 18, like that, funk. That's old sock funk.
Something bitter and dry and funky.
This is not
delicious.
This is not that.
Speaking of that too, that 10-year-old store pick Elijah Craig barrel proof.
Yeah,
is quite good.
Yeah. Well, I think we've really consistently hit on the theme with Heaven Hill is that there's sort of a sweet spot, and it's around 8 years. 8
to 10 years old is the spot.
Yeah, this is delicious. I mean, how much did you pay?
$33.
Yeah.
And I bought them for years for around 28 or so.
I feel bad now.
Every time I drink one, I think, why don't we drink this all the time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've even seen this recently, so man, if I see it again, I'm going to grab some.
Yeah, if you do, please buy all that's there. I'll happily pay for those because they're not going to be available.
Yeah,
unless you go to Kentucky.
This should get. We don't have this, but we should give this the practical still stamp of approval because it's practical.
Do we? If we have one of those stamps, that's great.
Stamped. It is stamped now.
Oh look, Bender used the tip for sniffing coffee. Perfect. I mean, coffee. I'm a gigantic coffee geek as well. Coffee shares a lot of the same properties as whiskey.
If you're in ordering coffee, and I'm sure you have your local place, but Rachel and I, our local place just closed, just around the corner. So years ago, we were in Crested Butte, Colorado. You ever had Camp 4 coffee? Camp4coffee.com. Delicious.
Well, Dan, that sounds fine, but I roast my own coffee.
Oh, well, excuse me. I don't, so I have to buy my stuff.
Blah, 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 blah. I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
Sure. But that's right. Bender did tell us it was going to be Kentucky only. I didn't know that at the time.
This wasn't gonna be Kentucky Oakley? Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Sorry, Bender.
Bender, we drink when we
That's
do
what happens
this,
when you don't show up for a week or two.
I just chalk it up to the fact that we're always drunk when we do this. So.
We're not drunk when we start.
That's true.
Yeah, good job, Larry. And I know I think you got a buddy that goes to Kentucky, or maybe it's Tennessee once in a while. But anybody close, I don't know. I just think they're really good, especially in that category of bourbons you can give to people that are kind of new.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about this one too is, I got this Japanese whiskey. We tried this last time or a couple weeks ago, and it's good, but it doesn't have much of a mouthfeel, and it is a lower proof. It's 80%. It's 80 proof. Sorry. And what I struggle with lower proof whiskeys is there's not much of a mouthfeel sometimes. Like you get a lot of flavor, but you don't get the mouthfeel. This actually has a really significant mouthfeel, and it's quite good once you get this out of your mouth.
I think it's, we talk about that with Tennessee whiskey, that with the Lincoln County process, it removes enough of the fun stuff that it takes either time or proof to put that back. And in this case, a couple of eight-ish years makes a difference over a lot of that stuff that's a year or two younger.
This is impressive. I'm actually really into this.
I've always been the same way, but every time I open it, I did open the bottle and I back to the bottle. Every time I do, all I can think is, why didn't I buy a pile of this?
Yeah. All right, quick poll. How many of you guys out there are proof hounds where you see something 80 proof and you're like, no way? Because that's how I started.
Well, 80 proof, I'd still say kind of almost no way.
Well, sure.
But
I mean,
that's
anywhere
86.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
I will say. Because
I don't do that for sure. I give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't in the past. I think I will now. But I mean, I guess I should say I do now, but I didn't before. And anything like 90 proof or above is kind of where I'm at, where I was at.
I think that's for American whiskey, that's fair. Now, I do.
Scotch is a different story.
Scotch is different. I mean, I just encourage you to take a different approach. You got to think about Scotch and Japanese whiskey differently than you do American whiskey.
Yeah.
And then what was
because we got that, and this was a store pick from Casey down at Spirits Wine Provisions. This is 80 proof.
You've been threatening to open that for a while.
I know. Well, we could do it today.
We could. The other thing that lately brings us to lower proof are some of those Dickel 15-year-old picks. Some of those are in the mid-80s.
We just drained that last night, Jacob and I did. Yeah, we were playing guitars here last night and finished off the 15 Dickel. Do you want to try this?
Sure.
Let's open it. So we're going straight from bourbon to Irish.
We got to connect that. So let's see. How can we?
Well, it's proof.
Do we remember Evan Williams was from Ireland or Scotland? I don't remember.
Who isn't?
but Evan Williams is by Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill also produces Henry McKenna. Henry McKenna was Irish. There you go.
Well, there you go.
3 degrees.
6 degrees of Kevin Bushmills.
6 degrees of Henry McKenna.
Can you put this on the pour cam so people can see the?
You want the full? There's the full.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, excuse me. There's the full.
Okay, that's not here. I'll tip this up so you guys can see it. So 12 years, single malt Irish whiskey, Oloroso sherry and bourbon casks, and finished in Marsala casks, giving this triple wood. Who doesn't love a triple wood?
Everybody loves triple wood.
Everybody loves triple wood.
So matured in sherry and bourbon, but
correct.
Finished in, what was the finish?
Marsala casks.
Marsala.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dried fruit and cherry flavor. So it's 12 years old.
Should be a pile of fruit flavors.
Yeah, and it's 80 proof. So it is a lower proof whiskey. So let's see how this goes. Now this is, when Casey gave this to me, he's like, occasionally I like to throw you guys some curveballs, get you something you wouldn't otherwise buy. And I certainly would never pick this up off the shelf at 80 proof. It's 12 years old, which is cool. But Bushmills was like what I drank when I wanted to get drunk, in college.
I keep a bottle of regular old Bushmills blended. Delicious.
Yeah.
Under the coffee maker. So in case I have a spontaneous desire for Irish coffee, there's a small bottle of Irish whiskey there. But I did drink some of that on a recent podcast with Stacy.
Yeah.
And I poured it out.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It's fine in the coffee, but I'd never drank it by itself.
Yeah. So this is
not so good.
This nose is reminiscent of Glenmorangie Lasanta.
I got that red breasty kind of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not quite.
Oh man, the Marsala is all over that.
Yeah,
you get the sherry, but that sweet Marsala wine is all in that.
Yeah, you don't get as much of the sherry as you do with the Glenmorangie.
Great nose.
Yeah, Larry, I think I'm learning.
And spicy.
Larry says he prefers 90 and up, but Mark, he's making some exceptions. I think I'm at that point now too. I think I'm starting to appreciate lower proofs more and more.
And Dan doesn't, but for those that drink cocktails, let me give you my tip because old fashions are just delicious. If you're making your old fashioned with anything under 100 proof, when you muddle your sugar or before you add your simple syrup, if you go that way, don't use water to muddle your sugar cube, use some of the whiskey. And that gives you a little extra headroom on a lower proof whiskey.
Always hang a sock on the door before you muddle your sugar. All right, let's see.
The nose is delicious.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. It's sweet.
It is, but it's not cloying.
The finish is no, it's not, and the finish is spicy.
That's lovely.
I like that a lot.
That's really good.
And that's a perfect example of as an American whiskey drinker,
Yeah.
don't let a lower proof Irish or Scotch or Japanese whiskey scare you off because of that used barrel influence. It's just not the same ratio that you're used to.
And yeah, give me on the pour cam again. I mean, you can see how light this is.
Yeah, it's a light color. It's delicate.
Yeah.
The finish is relatively short.
Yeah, but it's good. It's spicy.
Delicious finish. Yeah.
It's lovely. I think it's got elements of like the Glenmorangie, but it's definitely more of the Marsala, like you said.
Yeah, but it's like a nougaty, caramely fruit finish to it.
Yeah.
Those Harry and David baskets, when rich people want to thank you, they send you the Harry and David fruit basket. It's always these chocolate covered,
I don't know,
chocolate fruit things.
Yeah,
delicious.
Very poor. No, I think this is quite good. And at 80 proof, it has a lot of interesting things going on. It's got enough of a mouthfeel that it's compelling.
And I'm going to retract the finish thing because it's kind of still there now. I think it's a decent finish.
I mean, it's quicker than something like this.
But the meat of it's quick, but it hangs around in your gums.
Well, props.
What did we pay for that?
I think with tax it was 60, 65. So it's on the cusp.
When you could buy the $30, $35, $40 Glenmorangie Lasanta, that's but that's different though.
The Lasanta's gone up in price. You can still catch it on sale for around 40.
I haven't bought one in 2 years. I don't know.
I brought one last year for 40, but I used to buy it for 30 or even cheap, maybe even cheaper than that.
I've never bought it less than 30, but.
Yeah, I mean, the Lasanta is just the Glenmorangie Lasanta. If you see that on sale for 40, grab it.
We did if you remember this, a long time ago, we did a whiskey night where I had 3 sherry whiskeys.
Yeah.
So I had the Redbreast 12, the Lasanta, and
something else.
Sherry finished Scotches and Irish whiskeys are just delicious, and not just finished.
Yeah.
Sherry matured.
Yeah. Well, and we've struggled with finished whiskeys before. Because they tend to be too sweet, and like you said, it's like they have leftover port or something.
8 gallons of port in the bottom of that barrel.
But this is good,
but do remember that when you're talking about Irish and Scotch and Japanese whiskey, when you see sherry, it doesn't necessarily mean finished. It could have just spent its whole life in and that's the way the Redbreast is. Half of it spends its life in an ex-bourbon barrel, half in an ex-sherry barrel.
Yeah. If you're looking to spend a little money and not regret it, you don't have to spend this much money to get something good. But Stranahan's actually does a sherry cask finish, which is fantastic. It's overpriced. It's usually on the shelf for $80, but it's really, really good. I struggle with it because I want some more on my shelf, but 80 is just a lot. But every time I buy it, it's just fantastic. I would love to do, actually, I might bite the bullet and just buy one, because what I would love to do is get that and the Lasanta next to each other. And it's an American single malt versus a Scotch, but I think it'd be an interesting comparison.
It's a fair comparison.
Yeah.
It starts off as malted barley.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Let's do that.
I'm in.
You buy the Glenmorangie, because I'll buy the Stranahan's.
Why don't we just share the cost?
We'll share the cost, and then we'll drink the cost together
with everybody.
This is good. I'm happy to have this on my shelf. This is a win.
I'm glad you're good, because you've gotten kind of hosed on a few of those picks.
I have. I'm still sore about the cream of Kentucky.
I always say I don't care about packaging, but I think the truth is I care. That's just nice packaging. Those are slick labels. There's embossed glass.
Square bottle.
Real cork. Square bottle. That's just nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I got a few stinkers recently, and I'm happy that this is good.
Yeah. I'm always surprised at how few stinkers we get over the years.
It's true. Yeah, we've had few truly bad ones, we'll say. There's always something redeeming about them. There's very few where we're just like, let's pour this in the yard. It's up there. Can you see it? Yeah, they might not be able to see it.
Cream of Kentucky.
Should we try it again? Maybe it's gotten better.
Oh, do I have to?
Well, I mean,
all right, we'll try it again.
let's put it to the audience. Should we try it again?
So Dan bought this bottle and $75.
Yeah.
And we had
Plus tax.
The initial release of the Cream of Kentucky, the 11.5-year-old.
That was great.
Right after Jim Rutledge left.
Yeah.
For Roses. I don't know if it was great. It was. We went back and forth, and it was good.
The first time it was good.
I believe it was it's Barton produced whiskey.
Bender says we should try it.
Well, yeah, you don't have Bender. You didn't sip it. His stuff is awful. Foul.
It doesn't smell any better.
Anyway, we kind of liked it, but this is a different deal. This is a bottled and bond. I kind of naively went, cool, maybe he bought some Barton rye, which is always delicious. But actually, it's an artisanal distillery in Kentucky. It's a rye
it's a
called
high rye,
Ryman. It's 100% rye. Yeah. So I always wonder, is there some malted rye when it's 100%? Because you need something malted or some enzymes. And I don't particularly care for malted rye. This is just... I think something's wrong with it. I don't think anybody put that in a bottle thinking it was good.
I do think we got a bad bottle. So that the bourbon we got,
that Bushmills is delicious.
It's good. It's really
I like
good.
that a lot.
You should take some of that home.
Okay.
The first Cream of Kentucky we had, I remember we opened it in the yard, and we thought it was okay. And then we opened it again, a few weeks later, right? Or maybe it was a month later, and we thought it was excellent. And then we opened it again after that, and we thought it was okay again.
Because we don't know what we're doing.
We were in various degrees of drunk. Let's try it again. Bender says we should. All right. I'm going to do light pours because I know this is gross. Is that light enough? All right, let's go for it. It's too bad. It really is because, I think we just got a bad bottle. The nose is nasty.
God.
The nose is nasty.
That's all I could do not to
I'm going to make a t-shirt. Would you guys wear a t-shirt that says the nose is nasty?
That's just awful.
Oh, God, that is terrible.
So you say, what's so terrible about it? It's bad meat terrible.
It is. With astringent
and I know that one because on a routine basis I go to the refrigerator and think, I wonder if that turkey's bad, and I open it and I sniff it and I go, I don't know. My wife goes, who's a nurse, don't eat that.
You take a little nibble at least. Yeah.
This is that experience.
It's really bad. Yeah, that's really bad. It tastes like I licked the fence outside. Ugh. Nope.
God, it gets worse as it sits there too.
It does. That's bad. Ooh, that's bad. Dump that on the floor. Oh, I don't know if it might be worth writing to them. It's just shooting an email.
There's definitely some malted rye in there. Maybe it's 100% malt. I mean, it doesn't say.
But something's wrong with that, right? Like it doesn't taste right.
I really hate malted rye.
I mean, I'm not a fan either. But
this is the experience I get drinking 80 Laws whiskey from here in Colorado.
See, I don't though. Like 80 Laws to me is pretty inoffensive. It's not great, but it's not bad.
This is a similar vein.
This is bad.
Yeah, this is bad. I don't think 80 Laws makes bad whiskey. I think I don't like malted rye, and a lot of theirs has a malt component to it. I mean, malted barley. Love that. Malted rye.
And it is this 100% Ryman rye, and I don't know what Ryman rye is, but
that's just awful.
It's really bad. And that's such a bummer because, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but that first bottle of Cream of Kentucky we had I have positive memories of it.
I have another one.
Bring it.
I brought two, if you remember.
I'm not drinking this again, but we could put this bottle next to it while we drink the good stuff.
We'll open it.
Yeah.
What did I pay? I paid a bunch for those.
It was over 100 for sure.
I think they were 150.
Yeah, it was up there.
It definitely was not worth.
I'm taking this off the table because this is just bad.
That offends me sitting on the table.
Oh, I'm sorry to say it, but yeah, that's just really bad.
So don't buy that.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
What else?
Questions, comments, dirty jokes. Are you going to buy our t-shirt that says, what did I hear? I already forgot.
The nose is nasty.
The nose is nasty. That would get some mixed reactions.
Well, we have to reframe that into that means it's good.
Yeah. The nose,
That nose is nasty.
Yeah. We also have a new logo coming, by the way. It's starting to look really good.
We do.
Glencairns.
Yes.
What else? All right. Should we drink anything else before we call it a day?
We should always drink something. We have to have something to clink our glasses at when we're leaving.
Well, we got the Dragon's Milk. We've got some Knob Creek.
Where's that one?
Which one?
Total Beverage. How about a little Rare Breed?
God, Ribby?
Jeez, Dan. You've been hurting that.
I've been busy since we've. Hey, look, I had a rough trip
Golly.
to Copenhagen. I had it.
That's a.
Pour away.
When we just opened that.
No, I worked hard. I had a weird ending to my trip. I'll skip the real dramatic part.
You should not skip the dramatic part.
All right,
You were on BBC World.
I was. There was a mass shooting in Copenhagen, and I was a witness to it. I was far enough away that I was safe, which is fortunate. But I caught it on video, and so the BBC World wanted to interview me, so I spent some time on the BBC World. This is not an experience I was hoping to have, especially in another country that has the strictest gun laws in the world. What are the odds of an American going to another country and witnessing a mass shooting? And then
they don't have them there.
Yeah, and then I got back from my trip. I went to the parking lot where I had my truck, and somebody had broken into my truck and tried to steal it. Destroyed it. So we're going to find out how much that's going to cost me. So the Wild Turkey Rare Breed did not last long.
And you may be able to buy some bottles on the cheap to fund Dan's truck restoration.
Yeah, I'm gonna be selling anything you see in this garage is going to be for sale.
Well, I'm glad you made it home safely.
Thank you.
I enjoyed watching your journey.
Other than that, it was a great trip, so I'm happy to have gone.
And once again, if ever in doubt, Wild Turkey.
Yeah, how do you not drink through this quickly? Because it's so good.
I have a bottle. I'm going to open it as soon as we get home.
I'm going to buy some more of this. This is great.
This is good. Bender, Larry, thanks for hanging out with us. Anybody that watches subsequently, thank you. If you have questions for us, we're going to drink every Friday.
Yeah. If you have friends, tell them about
Yeah, tell them to join us. Yeah. And remind them that if they think they're working on Friday, I mean, nobody works on Friday afternoon.
If you don't have friends, yell it at strangers.
Yeah, and if you're in Colorado, come hang out on a Friday with us.
We're here
Right.
every Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you.